Everyone. Welcome to Guru Purnima celebration hosted by Hindu Council of Australia and Hindus of Australia with our beloved Prachyam team. Guru Shishya Parampara had been the foundation of Hindu religion and Indic knowledge system from Shiva as Adiguru, Adiguru to Saptarshi, you can see it in the background, and so on. Even the Bhagwan Vishnu, through his avatars, had upheld the tradition of Guru Shishya Parampara. Being the oldest living civilization, Indic knowledge system has Chaturvedas, Upanishad, Charak Samhita, Jyotish Shastra, Agam Shastra, mathematics, Carnatic music, Natya Shastra, and much more to offer. Every aspect of human life had been explored, experimented with, and documented by countless Guru Shishyas of that time. Passing on this knowledge has always been the priority of our ancestors, irrespective of the challenges they faced. In an age, in fact, it was never a choice, but the most important responsibility for every born Hindu. In an age where Hindu phobic forces are using all kinds of modern technology to destroy young minds, why not use this technology to strengthen these young minds with knowledge and ancient wisdom to build a better world? Hindus of Australia is committed to equip Australian Hindu parents with all the necessary tools to help them intellectually strengthen their children. Prachyam, the only Hindu OTT platform in the world, has made this job easier for making an excellent audio-visual content, the medium preferred by young generation. From informative, well-researched documentaries to storytelling, Prachyam has a lot to offer to those who want to learn about Hindu Indic culture. This Guru Purnima, we would like to introduce Prachyam to our Australian Hindu followers by screening their latest documentary called Eternal Civilization. We would also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, sea, and waters of the area that we live and work on across Australia. We acknowledge their continuing connection to their culture and pay our respects to their elders, past and present. Now, I would like to, we will formally begin the Guru Vandana by Meenakshi ji, who is a Sanskrit teacher. Thank you. Over to you, Meenakshi ji.
सर्वेभ्यो नमो नमः। गुरु पूर्णिमा पर्वणः शुभाशयाः। असौ हिरण्मयखण्डः आदिवासीनां ज्ञानकलाभूमिः मातृभूमिः च। तान् आदिवासिमनुकुलं स्मृत्वा प्रप्रथमतया कार्तज्ञं समर्पयामः। This is the composition of Shivabhinaya Jagadguru Nrisimha Bharati Swaminaha Gurupaduka Stotram. Ananta samsara samudratara naukaidabhyam guru bhaktidabhyam वैराग्य साम्राज्यद पूजनाभ्याम नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम कवेत्ववाराशि निशाकराभ्यां दौर्भाग्यदावां बोधमालिकाभ्यां दूरीकृतानम्र विपत्तिताभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नताययो श्री पतितां समीयुः कदाचिदप्याशु दरिद्रवर्याः मूकाश्च वाचस्पतितां हिताभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नालीकनिकाश पदाहृताभ्यां नानाविमोहादि निवारिकाभ्यां नमज्जनाभीष्ट ततेप्रदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नृपालिमौली व्रजरत्नकान्ति सरेद्विराज जशकन्यकाभ्यां नृपत्मदाभ्यां नतलोकपङ्क्तेः नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां पापान्धकारार्क परम्पराभ्यां तापत्रयाहीन्द्र खगेश्वराभ्यां जाड्याब्धि संशोषण वाडवाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां शमादिषट्क प्रदवैभवाभ्यां समाधिदान व्रतदीक्षिताभ्यां रमाधवाङ्घ्रि स्थिरभक्तिदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां स्वार्चापराणाम् अखिलेष्टदाभ्यां स्वाहा सहायाक्ष धुरन्धराभ्यां स्वान्ताच्च भाव प्रदपूजनाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां कामादिसर्प व्रजगारुडाभ्यां विवेकवैराग्य निधिप्रदाभ्यां बोधप्रदाभ्यां धृतमोक्षदाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां सर्वेभ्यो नमो नमः धन्यवादः
Dhanyavad, Meenakshi ji. That was a really beautiful song. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Rohini ji, if you can move to the video screening now. So it's a 28-minute video.
Okay.
It's a beautiful documentary which us and kids of us and their kids should also see. So the first of the IKS series. On to you, Rohini ji.
Yeah, sure.
For millions of years, mankind took birth and life for granted. But somewhere, profound insights regarding the nature of our existence dawned upon an ancient people, the people of India.
Indian knowledge system has three words there: Indian knowledge and system.
प्रकृति से संस्कृति बनाना, this is the task for human being.
India was the prosperous place in the world. Why?
How did India's knowledge survive while other ancient civilizations disappeared?
The whole world is talking about sustainability. If you look at the Sanskrit word dharma, the very meaning of dharma is that which can be held or sustained.
बिना संस्कृतम नैव संस्कृतिः. इंडिया को जानना है, इंडियन कल्चर जानना है, तो संस्कृत जाननी होगी.
Most stories are about lost civilizations. This is about a living one.
So what a presentation that was! A great one. The first time I when I saw this on the OTT, reminded me of uh, like the same quality as the planet Earth when David Attenborough used to present it long back. And uh, mind that like being with Prachyam since they started, like this is a they're an awesome example of how good a Hindu startup can get when in a world where it's told to every one of us that when you put Hindu to anything, it won't work. So, passing on to have more insights into this whole thing, I will pass it over to Captain Praveen Chaturvedi, who, as you have seen in the narration, um, also I would request everyone that the full video is present, is available the um, on the Prachyam OTT. They have more of these beautiful videos, all like lying around the OTT. So please visit there. Um, you won't. It's one of the best things you will see. So Praveenji, on to you.
Here it is, yeah. Thank you so much. Namaste to everyone once again. Thank you so much. Yeah, a lot of hard work goes into making such films, and it's definitely a teamwork, So, thanks to the wonderful team who worked day and night to put this video together. What specific thing you would like me to talk about?
A history of Prachyam, how you started it, the problems behind it, pretty much the whole thing, really. Because, like I mentioned, and this comes from one of your recent um, presentations. I believe you were interviewing Swamiji. So you mentioned that when one of the feedbacks you had got was adding Hindu to name. That used to be considered a big problem. So maybe a background of Prachyam would be very helpful to the folks who don't know about it, especially down here in Australia?
Sure. Can you see me?
प्रवीण जी आपका वीडियो दिखता नहीं है, फेस नहीं दिखता है.
Okay, one second. There's some problem. One second.
No worries.
Yeah.
Yes, it is good.
So, the story of Prachyam, how we started. I think I'll have to go back, a couple of decades when I was, young. I was a young officer. And should I speak in Hindi or English? What is, what would
Both
be good for you?
languages, both would be good.
Both would be good.
Yes.
But which language would you prefer? I mean, your audience would prefer which language? अगर हिंदी में बात करें तो सही है?
I think English will be better because there might be few other people might not be able to understand.
Yeah.
No problem. So we'll continue in English. So I think the foundation was laid, when I met my guru, in Kashi. It was a long time back, I was very young that time. And before that, I had this very, very deep longing and deep interest in knowing about, Bharatiya Sanskriti, Indian culture, Indian knowledge tradition, so many things about Bharat, our philosophies, our sciences. And there was no way I could read anywhere or I could find more about it. And it was my guru, who introduced me to true Bharat, from whom I learned about Indian sciences, Indian philosophies, about, the great tradition of rishis, about Indian knowledge system, so many things, And then I got a glimpse of what Bharat is. The time moved on, and I, went to Canada, from where my film journey started, where I met a French-Canadian filmmaker who became my first guru of filmmaking, from whom I learned. And I worked with him, and then he asked me to take a formal training as well. So I went to University of Southern California, a school of cinematic studies in Los Angeles, where I took a formal training, and then I went to UCLA. And then I was working there in the industry, Hollywood, with the Paramount, Universal, other studios. And when I noticed that the film medium, the audio-visual medium, was being weaponized by the anti-Bharat forces, to put forth fake narratives about Bharat. And I could see that, nobody was coming forward, to counter those fake narratives. And I was seeing, this weaponizing of electronic media and the films was being done by, big lobbies. And even they were doing propaganda against Bharat. So I thought, something should be done, and my guru had asked me to come back. And he had asked me that I should, do, some service to Bharat. So that's when, I came back, and we formed a team. You have met, this talented team. Some of them, Kshitij, Abhishek, and we founded a film studio called Moonlight Pictures first. And but Moonlight was, although the founding principles were same, to make film on Bharat and the Indian culture. But of course, to run a studio is not easy, so we had to take a lot of commercial projects as well. Like we did a collaboration with the Australian government. We made 2 films, Lights Across the Sea and The Happen Chance. So later on, we decided that we should have a dedicated platform just for making films which are centered on the themes about Bharat. And that's when, the idea of Prachyam came. Prachyam means east, the Orient, the east, from where the sun rises. And the symbology is, the sun of knowledge has risen from the east, and it has enlightened the world. So that's how the Prachyam name came up, and we started this dedicated studio, Prachyam Studios, which only makes films on Indian culture, Indian heritage, Indian antiquity, Indian sciences, philosophy, everything about Bharat. So we started making films. We started putting it on our YouTube channel, and we've got a great response. Now you see the same forces, who were peddling the fake narratives about Bharat. They had always portrayed, Bharat in a particular light. They did not want the world to see the grandeur, the greatness of Bharat, of our culture. So, and these forces, they own, all these big techs. So we started facing the heat, these big tech companies, these channels, these YouTube, these Facebook, they started shadow banning us. And we started feeling that we were, our reach was being curtailed, and, our subscriptions were, being deleted, and, a lot of problems. And then we made a video on the great struggle of Ram Mandir movement, which was, about the struggle and about the sacrifices that people made, for Ram Mandir. It was about Ram Mandir movement. But they did not like it. In 1 hour, that video was deleted from YouTube. And then that was the time, we thought, something should be done. But although we had put the video on X and, on other platforms, and it really became a hit, a couple of crores, in views in just one day. But that time we thought, that a solution has to be thought about, about this, a permanent solution. And we had already started working on our own independent platform. And we thought this is time that we should launch Prachyam OTT, the first Hindu OTT. Now, as you know, and most of you must have seen, our films, Sahibs Who Never Left, Part 1 and Part 2, and also another film, Guru Shishya Parampara, that, how the Britishers, they did this, ideological subversion. How they finished, they decimated the great Guru Shishya Parampara in our country, and how they enforced, their own English education model on us, and how this all continued even after independence. And we were continued, the people who came in power, they continued the same subversion, and did nothing to restore these great traditions. So the people, the Hindus especially, the generations were brought up, with little pride about themselves. They did not know what their glory and grandeur and, the greatness of their civilization and the greatness of the culture was. So always, Hindus, they were a little bit apologetic. That's how, the motto of Prachyam is be unapologetic. And, they were always, they used to shy away from, calling out, themselves as Hindus, as proud Hindus, which I have seen nowhere with any other religion. But that is what, had been done to us over generations. So when we thought about, naming it Hindu OTT, and we just shared it with some people, and many people, and some of them the top people, they say, don't use the word Hindu, just call it Indian. So I asked them that, we had to ask them, but what is wrong in calling it a Hindu OTT? It is about, the Hindu culture, Hindu Sanskriti. It is about, our Hindu philosophies, our knowledge traditions, our great parampara. So we that's how we realize that, that same feeling of being apologetic, of shying away from these things, it still exists, and nevertheless, we went ahead and we proudly called it, the first Hindu OTT in the world. And that's how this OTT started, and we focused on making more and more films on indigenous Indian topics, on the aspects, of history about which nobody knew, about the great contribution, like, on Prachyam, you will see there's a initiative called Gifts of India initiative, where we have made films on, that calculus originated in India, like the wood steel, we were the pioneers in that 2000 years back. So the Bharat's contributions to the world in every field, may it be mathematics, or may it be physics, or chemistry, or medical sciences, or surgery, or life sciences like yoga, or Ayurveda, or the philosophies. You take any aspect, any field, I think the contribution of Bharat is unmatched in the world. And we have already shown in our some films, that the entire West, the modernization, the industrialization of the modern world, it is based, on the ancient knowledge and ancient wisdom of Bharat. And that's how we also came up, first with the 10 Indic film projects about which you are aware, of which Sahib's 1 and Sahib's 2, Guru Shish Parampara, and, the other films which are coming. They are a part, of this 10 Indic film projects. And so we wanted to show and to make the Indian diaspora around the world, and especially the youth who had gone through this subverted education system, which unfortunately still prevails. We wanted to tell them, to make them feel very proud of their own civilizational roots, of their own culture, of their own great tradition of rishis, which has been there in Bharat for millenniums. So that was, the purpose, and I'm very happy and I'm very thankful to the Hindu Council of Australia and, the Hindus of Australia, that you took out time, and you previewed this film for your audience there. And I request all the Indians, all the Bharati in Australia, that please become a part of this movement. Please do go to prachyam.com, which is our OTT. Do subscribe. Please go on prachyam.org, which is a non-profit initiative of Prachyam, where we do a lot of, initiatives, a lot of work, become a part of that. And please enlighten your children, tell them, to what great country they belong to what great culture and to what great legacies they belong to. This is my humble request to all of you.
Praveelji, you forgot to mention that you also have Android and Apple apps. Those who want to watch and enjoy your videos and your content on their mobile phones. Uh, it's a very good place if you're traveling around, um, and especially for kids, you guys have a lot of good programs. Just one more question, because I know that I noted that this is the first of your creations, which is an Indian knowledge system creations. Would you like to talk about that and what's next in that series? I know the answers, but it's always good to hear from the creators themselves.
Well, thank you for pitching in. Yes, Prachyam has got apps. It's the both the Android, and the iOS apps are there. You can download it very conveniently. Also, wanted to share with you that very soon, we have already launched it though, but very soon we are coming with a lot of content, for the kids. And we have dedicated a separate section for the kids called Prachyam Kids, where there are very interesting stories from Itihas, from Puran, from Upanishad, from Jatak Kathaएं, Panchtantra, even the folk stories, which are full of wisdom, which have, a lot of model that the kids can learn. And I realized that in our space we really make very little content for kids, especially good quality content. So we thought we should do with our own limited means, because this is all self-funded. It is and then people like you, whoever give contributions or donation, it runs on that. So we can't make very expensive 3D animation films like Hollywood, but within our own means and constraints and what best that we can do, we have always tried to do that. IKS, as you know, is a wonderful initiative of the Ministry of Education, Government of India. They started, this very, very good initiative, so that similar to our cause, it just started, last year, that even in school and colleges, they can tell people about Indian knowledge system. And it so happened that I had gone to meet, the education minister, and there I met, a wonderful gentleman who was the chairman of AICTE, Shri Sahasrabuddhe. And we just started talking, and we, just clicked, And he invited me over. He said, that we have started a new division called Indian Knowledge System, and you have been doing a great work, and somehow we can collaborate. And I said, yeah, why not? So I went there, and he introduced me to the head national coordinator, the head of IKS, Shri Murthy. And already we had already started making films along the same lines, along which the Indian knowledge system had just started to work. So we thought, why not to collaborate together? And that time, the G20, India was hosting, the G20, and Prime Minister wanted, that something unique should be made for the G20. So we all got together and we made, the film that you saw, Eternal Civilization, which was shown, to the G20 nations, and it was really appreciated there. So the next film that you can preview some other time is on the water conservation, water management systems, the ancient traditions of Bharat. It's called Apo Vai Amritam. Water is elixir. So, thousands of years back, our ancestors, they understood, the importance of water. And they knew it so well that how water should be conserved, how water resource management should be done. And they had constructed this beautiful step wells and so many methods. And we went into the deep of, these areas, the tribal areas, and, so many places in Bharat, just to know more about, just to explore more about, the traditional water management and conservation system of ancient Bharat. And this is what we are seeing now. What we are seeing now, and what the world is worried about now, that water is going to be a very, very rare thing in the coming future. Our ancestors had foreseen it, more than 1,000 years back. So that film is on ancient water management system, Apo Vai Amritam. It is there on our OTT platform. There's so many, some of the films are there, like one is there on Hoysaleshwar. Some of them, they are, in the pre-production stage. We plan to make 10 films, on different aspects. Like we want to make a dedicated film on the Vedic agriculture, Vedic Krishi. We want to make a dedicated film on Indian healing systems, Ayurveda, about which, unfortunately, this great country which gave this knowledge of surgery to the world and the knowledge of medicine and herbs to the world, it's very unfortunate that we don't know much about it. And it is looked down upon in our country, and it is not practiced. So we thought, on the true aspects, of this great science, This another film will be dedicated on this. There will be other films, which will be on the Indian philosophies. The film will be there, on the Natya Shastra, Bharat Muni. So we have about 10 films which are planned, and in the coming years, you all can see as it is released, But they all are very, very thought-provoking and very deeply researched films that we are going to come up in the IKS series.
Thank you, Praveenji. I forgot to mention that earlier as well. And one of the things which I will keep, I will have kept in back of my mind is, when in the hindsight I will look back whenever in the future, this thing like supporting Prachyam when you guys started that 10 documentary series would be something which I will say that this is probably one of the best things in terms of the investment I have ever done. So that's awesome. And regarding the water conservation, it's a very important topic which you just mentioned, especially in Australia, because not many people know that in Australia, water is a tradable commodity, which is which makes a huge impact because it's Australia is probably the driest continent after Antarctic on the planet, and when the water becomes a tradable commodity in such a geography, it will raise all the kinds of problems which you probably have covered in that content. So thank you for reminding us of that, and it would be I'm sure very, very relevant to the people in policy making here as well. So we will try to screen it to them as and when we can. So we have a question from one of our members, which is you already got a subscription at the moment, and you've mentioned this before in the video, but I'd like to reiterate: did you had any agitations by the leftist or liberals or that kind of category when you started this channel?
Well, it is there all the time. I mean, we are eyesore, for them. The narrative, the great narrative of Bharat, which they have dismantled over decades. We are now, reconstructing it back. So that thing is always there. That backlash is there. It is not very obvious, but yeah, you'll find, them talking about us. Maybe an article in the print, something or the other, always. But frankly, they even don't have much to talk about, because I think somewhere even they are mesmerized, watching these films. They can't find much to talk about, what they can talk about, because whatever we are showing is the truth, and in its purest, pristine form. And shot, on the best cameras, made with the best technology in the world. So the scope for them is very, very little, but yet some of them are very venomous, very vicious. Whenever they get a chance, they do get after us, But we are not bothered about it. As I said, we belong to a great parampara of gurus, the great parampara, of rishis. I'm there. I'm sure that my gurus are always there to bless me, and we have to move on and do the best that we can do for this cause. And again, I request that it is time. Difficult times, lie ahead for us. I think it is time that the Hindu community around the world should come together, should unite, should consolidate, should work together, for such great causes, because this is not only for us, it is for the coming generations. The knowledge which has been passed to us, through millenniums, it is our duty that we conserve it, preserve it for the coming generations and pass it down to them. So we all have to come together. So my request always is, that let's all work together in harmony for this great cause of Bharat.
I'll pass it on to Rohini ji and then on to Prakash ji for final closure if there are no questions. If anyone has any questions which they are unable to put it here, please reach out to Prachyam on X or Instagram or Facebook, they are available there, and they have a very, very responsive team. On to you, Rohini ji.
Okay, thank
or you
you.
can write to us, at namaste@prachyam.com.
Yeah. So I just had a question. Can you hear me, guys? So my question was, did you see, as you visited a lot of places while filming the documentary, that did you see that young generation, like Gen Z or even before that, are they attracted towards these arts? Do you see their interest is growing in these, and they see this as a career in upcoming time?
Definitely, I see. Some of them are, it depends upon the upbringing they have got, in their families. Some of them are definitely interested. The best part that we have observed is, once you tell them about these things, they show a lot of interest. The only problem is that they were never told about, these great things, the various form of arts and, the great traditions that we have. Like, for example, Prachyam, in Prachyam, the largest number of followers are very, very young. They are, in their teens and they are in their 20s. And it's just that, once they saw through our films, about their own true identity, about their own country, about their own culture and civilization and these great traditions, they genuinely got very, very attracted towards that. So somewhere, we have failed. Somewhere the generations, pre-independence and post-independence, especially the political parties that failed in telling them about their own culture, about their own identity. And this film, Sahibs Who Never Left, part 1 and part 2, actually it addresses that only. So if you tell them, they get very, very interested. They follow, they are very, very interactive, they write to us, a lot of them, they want to work voluntarily. And some of them, they do work voluntarily, They will, in their own free time, they would like to do some research, somebody will do some writing, somebody who's a technical expert will, pitch in, something technical. That is very, very overwhelming for us to, see, And I really pray that, more and more youth, they get, attached to, this mission and to the great cause that we are working towards.
Yeah, very well put. That's what we are trying. Instead of just going into the IT and programming, we have so much to explore for our young generations, that craftsmanship and everything, old old arts and all the other things. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kaptan Saab, for doing this wonderful job. When I am not hearing about the first time, though I am doing the Hindu cause for activity active since childhood, but first time I heard about the Prachyam. So that was when Avinash ji has talked to me nearly a month ago. And then I thought, let us do this and let us promote this. So Guru Purnima was the occasion, so that we selected and we started this. Now, since millennium, our generation to generation knowledge has been transferred, which you have shown in brief documentary. Now it is our generation's duty and responsibility to transfer to the next generation. And in that connection, you are doing a great job. So thank you very much. And we'll do more such documentary in future on Hindu Council platform. And also, thanks to Hindus for Australia to introduce this to the Hindu Council, and then we have done this webinar. So thank you very much for your all support. And when you say that your total followers are within age group of 20s, so I'm really pleased to know that, because currently when I am doing this Hindu Council activity and work, and I found that majority people are in 50s and 60s coming to work with me to go to there. But so it was very, very encouraging things that to know that yes, people are there in 20s are taking interest into that. I remember one in Gujarat, there is a Sompura family who does from generation to generation the temple construction. Even Ram Janmabhoomi construction also, they have done the model. So I had made them know nearly 30 years ago. And at that time, I was thinking that why, but this, how they are going to transfer. And the guy was telling me that he's learned from his father, and now he's make sure he will transfer this knowledge to his son. But so I was very pleased to that. And now you are doing this as a on wider level. So we are very happy to know that, and we will provide whatever support we can provide to Prachyam from Hindus of Australia. So
And just one more, yeah, just one more in closing, because as Prakashji mentioned about the support, Praveenji, I'm very happy to inform you that your team has been in touch with me, and I have, on behalf of Prakashji as well, already committed that we will provide you with all the support in Australia what you would need.
Thank you so much. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot. Really, really grateful.
Thank you. Prakashji, you can then now close my Shanti Mantra.
No, now we can have a Shanti mantra. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much.
Thank you all, and we hope to come back with more of such great episodes. Okay. Thank you. Rohini-ji, you can close it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And I would again encourage our viewers to visit Prachyam's platform, prachyam.org, as you said, Praveenji, I guess. Yeah.
Prachyam.com and prachyam.org both.
ORG, yes. And they do have all the social media platforms. It's amazing. Go visit, watch, and enjoy. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Namaste.